Hello, subscribers and first time viewers. Welcome to the Kenny Hack. So, here's the test we got tonight. Um, Actually, trying a little bit of ceramic tile work, which, if you followed my videos, you know I haven't really done much of any kind of ceramic tile. Mostly just because when I see the Norton method, I see a lot of people running around like 1,000 to 1,500 speed millimeters per minute, and the results look really fantastic, but to me, that's running at such a slow speed. I just don't know how I could produce projects for my clients and produce a really good result at that slow a speed and still sell it at a reasonable price. So I've seen some people in the forums are using magic markers. So I got a couple different tests I'm going to try. Um, these are big Magnum black magic markers, a Sharpie and this Creatology marker. Got them both at Michael's. I got the test one set up. On the left is the Sharpie, on the right is the Creatology. Cleaned off the tile with some acetone, tried to remove any of the film. On first impression, the Sharpie went on much smoother. I could put a nice heavy coat on without it drying really fast and then smudging. That's kind of what the Creatology did. I'd start putting on a coat and it would dry so fast that I'd start smudging off the old layers and smearing it, where the Sharpie seemed to go on pretty smooth. I could keep putting on thicker and thicker layer and it seemed to go on much smoother. We'll see which one burns better. I was able to get a fairly good consistent coat with the Creatology after dabbing it in and filling in any smear spots. And then once I put the coat on, I have a high-speed air mover, like a cordless Ryobi air mover. They're just mostly made to blow dust off of power tools, but I just kind of hit the tile with that for a minute and made sure the ink was good and dry. Because another problem with the tile method I don't like is that you have to paint it, then wait like 6 to 8 hours at minimum, up to a day, to let the paint dry really well. And then you gotta try to burn it, and if you didn't apply the paint right, then your projects might not turn out very good, so you might have to end up painting a lot of pieces of tile just to get one where you applied the paint nice and evenly and everything else. There just seems to be a lot of things that can go wrong with the tile methods that has just kind of detracted me from even trying them. But when I seen people in the forums trying black magic markers and they could get nice dark images without all the wait time and hopefully more reliable process. I don't know if you could do photo quality work on it or if it's mostly just straight black and white logos. But we're going to give that, I'm just going to burn some test strips. And also, if you watch my page, you know I don't run slow. I'm going to try this test pattern running at 6,000 millimeters per minute. And I'm going to try it at 80, 70, and 60% power and just see what kind of test patterns I get. If I get one of them test patterns to turn out pretty good at that speed, I'll be pretty happy to burn any tile at 6,000 millimeters per minute. I can get pretty good production rate at that speed. The other test is, you can see my pile of Sharpies, is trying some colors. Now, whether or not these will burn black, whether I can get them to burn in a little bit of the color, that's kind of the test for tonight. That's another thing I was interested in, is like if you could actually get some of the color to transfer into the tile, or is it only going to burn black? And I don't have a lot of hopes for like the blue scales. I think a blue laser shining on anything that has some blue tones to it, I don't think will absorb enough of the laser light to actually burn. I'm kind of more hoping maybe like once I get maybe to the green, the orange, the red, the purple might work. The blue, I'd be really surprised if it burns. I just don't think the blue ink will absorb enough of the blue spectrum of light to burn. But it's a test, and that's what this channel is all about, is the mad scientist experiments and just seeing how different things work. So then we're going to be the two tiles I test burn. I'm not going to bore you with watching endless burns. I'm going to burn in these test patterns, clear the excess off with acetone, see what I get left behind, if there is a workable scale or just a workable black tone. Okay, so test number 1 at 6,000 millimeters per minute. Nothing stuck. As soon as I wiped it off with the acetone, everything wiped off. Nothing was embedded into the ceramic. So I'll try the same power test at 3,000 millimeters per minute, and we'll see if anything sticks at that speed. In case you're wondering, this is my high-speed air mover for drying stuff. It's basically like a little mini tiny leaf blower made by Ryobi. It's just a little 18-volt blower. I normally use it to clean off my power tools. It works really well to blow the dust off, but it should work pretty well for drying off this ink. I just give it a blow for like a minute until it feels good and dry, and that's what I'm using to blow dry it, just so you know what I'm talking about with my high-speed air mover. This little guy really blows. For the size of it, it's a pretty impressive little blower for 50 bucks or something I paid for it. If you have the Ryobi batteries anyway. So we'll go to test number 2 and we'll see if anything sticks there. So here's the result at 3,000 millimeters per minute. On the left is the Sharpie, and it is finally able to stick at 3,000, but it didn't stick very well. Actually, this one here, the Creatology, which I thought went on rougher and was harder to get an even layer, actually burned in better. And actually at the middle one is at 70% power, the left one is 80%. And at 70% power, that one seemed to produce the darkest image. I'm on the Jarvis Dither right now. I probably should run a test just at a fill, and maybe I'll use this little bit of strip over here. I'm at 254 line interval. It might be better at like a 318. Get it to overlap a little bit and maybe it'll burn better. I'll maybe just do a line or a little bit of a box fill at that setting on fill. I don't think I'm going to be able to get a gradation and do images with the marker. I think it's going to be a straight solid color, and that's all I'm going to be able to get. But I'm going to try, like I said, I'm just going to fill a box at 3,070 at 254 and see if it produces a nice solid black line. We'll see what I get on that edge, and I'll show you that result. So that there is the test at a fill. Just a quick square, set it to fill. The one at the left is on 254 DPI, the one on the right is 318. I'd say where I got a little skip there is where the marker didn't quite fill in. I kind of got a skip in my marker fill, so you'd want to make sure that your marker is at least coated everywhere. Any place there's a little skip, it's not going to burn in. But overall, that burned a nice black image to where I maybe could even speed up a little bit. But for a quick test, that's pretty promising. And it doesn't take any time waiting for stuff to dry. If you're only looking to do a straight black and white logo, the black magic marker, like I said, you might want to go find what magic markers you can and find which one gives you the best results. Also, get some latex gloves. Now I got black ink everywhere on my hand from trying to rub it off, so buy some cheap latex gloves just to keep the ink off. So now I'm going to try them settings. I'm probably going to burn one at like 3,000 and one at 2,000. I'm going to try the 318 fill just because that one turned out the best. I'm going to try seeing what that does on the colored Sharpie. So here's how the color tile turned out. The purple, couldn't get anything to stick. The blue, couldn't get anything to stick. The green on the left was at 3,000 millimeters per minute, 70% power on a fill box. And it had a little bit to stick. The one on the right was at 2,000. It had a pretty, like you could tell it was green, but the more I rubbed on it, the more that would come off. So I put on a double coat. The one on the left is at 1,000. The one on the right is at 2,000. And the problem with these colored markers is you can tell they don't go on an even color. You know, they kind of go on streaky. The blue actually went on probably the smoothest, and the purple. And it kind of got more streaky as I went on. The orange actually started turning a bit black. The one on the left is 2,000. The one on the right is 3,000. And it seemed to absorb the blue light pretty well, and so it started to burn it more black. The red I thought would do even blacker since red is higher in the spectrum. But like all colors, certain colors absorb certain spectrums better. And that's why, you know, some laser glass is orange and it works very well to block this particular bandwidth of blue, is because a certain color of orange will block out a very certain color of blue. Same with red. Like the red spectrums usually block out about all your blues and greens. But it just depends on what shade of red, what shade of orange. They're all going to act a little different. But I wouldn't say the color is a complete fail. I think it, just like the black magic markers, one of them worked better than the other. And I think if you really played around and had the time and really wanted to see what you could find, if you could find some different makes of markers, and once again, the best markers might not be the most expensive markers might not be the best ones. That Creatology marker, even though it seemed to go on more uneven than the Sharpie, it actually burned better. So, don't discount the cheap markers. They might actually work better. Just buy a pack of them, colors, blacks, whatever you find. Try different ones. You never know what's going to work better over one thing than the other. Putting it on, I'd have thought the Sharpie was going to work better. It seemed to coat better, went on more even. But, not saying the Sharpie wouldn't work, but in apples to apples, I'd say I'd probably have to go down in speed to get it to burn that black. And 3,000 millimeters per minute is still a pretty decent speed. And that that image stayed on there pretty good. I rubbed it with acetone. If that doesn't take it off, if you cleaned it up, sprayed a clear coat over it to protect it, I think that image, if you burned a logo in like that, I think it would stick in there pretty well. It's not going to come off anytime really fast. You could use it as a coaster. Just a different option if you're not looking to burn a picture. If you just want a logo, maybe magic markers, if you find the right magic marker, is the way to go. It might be a little quicker and easier, maybe a little more easier to reproduce your results than trying to spray paint it perfectly the same way every time. Hope you got the right humidity and temperature and conditions. I was like, I haven't done a lot of tile work, but reading in the forums, it seems like there's so many things that, if your focus isn't perfect, if if your tile's too cold or your tile's too hot, if it's more humidity in the air, it all seems like there's so much stuff that can affect the Norton method of, spray painting and burning it in. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I haven't tried any of those yet. I'm just going off what I've seen in the forums. But this was really quick and simple. It only took a little bit of test burns on a piece of tile to kind of dial in some quick numbers. This might be able to be improved on. I might be able to up the speed a little bit. Might be able to turn down the power a little bit. But for just a quick trial, it didn't take very many burns to really try to find a number just to burn in a straight black and white logo. So always be willing to try some different things. You never know how it's going to turn out. Thanks for watching. Just another little quick video, not really too quick, but just a video on trying different things and seeing how it turns out. Please like, subscribe, share, comment below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.